Britishvolt. But where do your priorities lie? For some people, their priorities lie with, well, securing the borders. Stop the boats. Yes, they buy into Richie Sunak's three-word slogan, plastered in front of his lectern. And so are the Braveman with her, well, offers of vacations to Rwanda, just so she can get that picture on the front of the Telegraph. Well, there's also other forms of security we need to look at, such as food security. We ain't got any. We keep importing stuff. We don't grow anything. People don't really grow much themselves these days, not like we used to years ago, when I was a boy. No. But there's also manufacturing security. Our ability to be able to compete on the world stage. Now, service is all very well, but people want tangible stuff. They need batteries for their electric vehicles, hence Britishvolt. But it collapsed earlier this year. So what about the old Britishvolt debacle? Now, we all remember when Boris Johnson, he waved it as some kind of Brexit win. There ain't no wins in Brexit, no. And him and his merry men of Brexit and numpties, well, they kept spouting off about how leaving the European Union would leave us with all these amazing opportunities for our economy. Sunlit uplands, they would say. Yeah, well, there's another broken promise to add to that pile. So apparently, Britishvolt was meant to be this, well, shining beacon of hope for the UK's battery-making ambitions in the form of this gigafactory. They were going to be, well, creating jobs, thousands of jobs. They were going to be boosting local economies, also boost UK manufacturing. But what do we have now? An empty warehouse. Well, a factory, kind of. Well, it's just big buildings, all it is. Happens to be, well, plonked on a piece of land owned by the council, and the council's now threatening to take that land back if they don't start building batteries. Well, they hadn't finished the factory yet. Well, Britishvolt was sold off to some dodgy Australian company called Scale Facilitation, who's now running the show. Anyway, please boot the old like button before I continue. Helps the channel, you know. And if you want to be a member, part of the Waddy crew, there's a link down below. Well, this is just another failed Boris Dream. And it's now been investigated by the Australian police for tax fraud. But they also can't seem to pay anybody. No. Including their employees. Not just those supplying services, their employees. That's right. Workers. They're already owed a significant amount of back pay. Now, this company's been, well, bouncing from one payout to another into the company. The last one being, well, a tax rebate that they use to pay the employees. Well, they don't appear to have any capital. Now, how the hell do we expect anyone, in fact, to run a successful company when you can't even pay your staff? You're destined for disaster. But this company was always destined for disaster. Well, Britishvolt was. Now, let's not forget about the UK government's so-called support for this whole fiasco. Now, they pledged to earn £100 million of taxpayers' money, that's your money, to support the manufacturing plans. Now, luckily, Britishvolt never met the criteria to get that money. They never got far enough ahead. Not enough bricks were put in the ground. In fact, I think they had to start getting machinery or something like that to meet the criteria. Now, for all the excitement and promises of jobs, I don't see any gigafactory actually being built there. No. Near Blythe in Northumberland. Do you? Leave it in the comments down below, please. And besides the plan to build this battery mega factory, Well, I don't believe it was ever going to succeed. It was always going to be a failure. Since the reason for this battery, well, factory was to meet the demand for car manufacturers in the United Kingdom who want to export cars to the EU. So they can be exported to the European Union without tariffs, without that 10% tariff. But here's the idiocy. The UK doesn't have any mineral deposits to build these batteries. So you've got this massive lump inside these vehicles that puts us out of the remit of rules of origin. Because the bulk of the vehicle has to be sourced from inside the United Kingdom or the European Union, but then you've got to claim it back. But if it comes from China or Africa or anywhere like that, well then, you still can't export it without a tariff. So car manufacturers are looking at this and saying, oh, they're shipping out too. Well, it's not very helpful, no. Now, that made sense for this Australian firm to actually buy Britishvolt in many ways, not necessarily for the UK market or even the European Union market, but the fact that the Australians, they have a large land mass and they do actually have minerals that they can mine. Think about the United Kingdom, we don't really have anywhere. Yes, we can mine for lithium, but the processing of it is costly and it's a dirty business. It's a dirty industry. It's not very good for the environment either. No. Well, so the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the TCA, it states in there about rules of origin. And as such, if we can't produce the bulk of that vehicle in the United Kingdom, 10% tariffs will be applied on all cars exported from the United Kingdom to the European Union. Well, the stupidity, quite frankly, is astounding. And that's just another example of how the Tories, because they pushed this, Boris Johnson pushed this along, they're just failing you. The Tories, they just keep failing you again and again and again. This was like a Tory Brexit flagship, was Britishvolt. Now, they like to make these grand promises, but when it comes down to it, they just cannot deliver. It's like watching a bunch of clowns trying to run a circus, and guess what? The Northumberland Council also has the power to take back control of the site if nothing happens by the end of, well, next year. No, hold my breath though. No. They're notorious for doing nothing. So here we are, we've got a failed battery company, hasn't even, well, made any batteries yet. They've got a few patents and that's about it. And they've got missed payments. Wages aren't even getting paid. Taxes are not getting paid on behalf of these employees. And a whole lot of, well, unanswered questions. So well done, Boris. Well done, Richie Sunak. Well done indeed. Maybe next time focus on something actually capable of delivering, maybe from 3-word slogans, such as stop the boats, build the batteries, I don't know. So Brexiters out there, if you are watching this video, please tell me, what has Brexit ever done for you? Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. The link's down below. We've also got memberships, and we're also planting trees on this piece of land here, but also on the piece of land over there. Yes, this piece of land over there, and a little bit, and another large parcel of land behind these solar panels. So, if you want to be a part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below where you can pretty much buy a tree, and we'll plant a tree on your behalf, but also I'll make a sign to go with the tree with your name on, or it could be a memory of a loved one. Anyway, I think it's time for me to go because I can feel some rain. Yes, it's starting to rain. I got a bit wet. But you know what they say about drips? They just get bigger. Ta-ta.